Hello guys, in this video we are going to see the camera calibration, and we are going to see also one method, the direct linear transform, by which we can get the parameters of the camera, that is the camera matrix. So this is the camera matrix. So we have the intrinsic camera matrix and the extrinsic camera matrix. So this can be just written as K, and this can be written as R, and this is T. Right, so this is the general form of the camera matrix that one can write. So we can see that our this thing, both intrinsic multiplied by extrinsic matrix, this can be represented by a P matrix, say. So that is just multiplication of these two, which is a 3 cross 4 element matrix. So here, given an X, a 3D world input, homogeneous in homogeneous systems, you can get a corresponding image point in homogeneous system, that too. So now in this video we are going to see how can we get this projective matrix or camera matrix by some calibration techniques. So what we do basically is, say we have a structure like this. So this it is an experimental setup where we set this thing over here, and we know that what is the 3D location of this point, this point, this point, this point. So here this is a typical calibration object, and here the location, the actual 3D location with respect to a reference, these 3D coordinates, that is x, y and z, are already known of this object. So the different points over here, the 3D coordinates of the different points are known, and then what we do is we just click a picture, and now we see what is the corresponding image point. So we have, say, the 3D coordinates of this point, that will be capital X, and we will have take its image, and from that we can get its corresponding image point. So this point over here, the x coordinate and the y coordinate, will give you the corresponding image point. So now you have this correspondence, you have this point in image plane, and you know what is its actual 3D location. So with the different correspondences, you can get the projective matrix or the camera matrix. So we'll see now how. So now with this kind of an object, you have correspondences. So you know which 3D point, which actual 3D point corresponds to which image point. So you have I different correspondences over here. Okay. Now what we do is, so this is what is known as the direct linear transform method. So you can also use least squares as we used in the image registration case. So that also can be used over here, or you could use this direct linear transform method. So since this is a new method, I thought of explaining this method. Okay, so this method is quite simple. So if you just take the cross product of these two things, so if I take xi cross product with this, since both of them should be equal, their cross product should be 0, because actually these two should be equal. So hence the cross product will turn out to be 0. And now we are just doing some notation changes. So now we can just represent this matrix, this pxi, this matrix over here, or this is actually a vector. So the product of pxi is actually a 3 cross 1 vector, which can be represented like this, where p1 over here is nothing but a row. So the first row multiplied by the first by this xi will give you the first element of this vector. The second row multiplied by the vector will give you the second element. Third row with the vector will give you the third element. So like this, pj is the jth row of the camera matrix. Okay. Now you can see that there is this cross product over here. So this can be we can use the cross product notation over here. So just changing this actual cross product to this skew symmetric matrix, as we have seen throughout our series. So the cross product matrix for this xi will be just like this. So xi is this x y w, so we just can replace this as xi yi wi and like this over here, so we get this skew symmetric matrix. Now when we multiply this skew symmetric matrix with this vector, it turns out that that will be nothing but equivalent to the cross product. So now just changing this xi to this cross product notation, we get this. Okay. Now if you just multiply these two, so we saw this pxi, the product can be represented like this and the cross product can be represented like this, and now we just multiply these two, so we get 0 into this minus wi into this, so we have 0 into this makes it 0, so minus wi into this thing plus yi into this thing, so there is this thing. So like this, just multiplying these things, we get this. Now since our unknown is p, so since we have the correspondences, we know what is xi and what is its corresponding small xi. So these two things are actually known to us by the calibration setup, and it is only the camera matrix that is unknown. So now just taking unknowns on one side, so I'm just so from this matrix now I'm sort of extracting p2 p3 over here. So if I want to extract p2, so if I just have a vector like this p1 p2 p3, so you can see that there is no p1 over here, so p1 is not there, so you can have a 0 for that, and then there is p2 and p3. So if you just multiply these two, it turns out that you will again land up with this matrix. So just to keep the unknowns over here and the knowns over here, we have done this thing. Okay, now if you see this matrix over here, this matrix, you will see that if I just multiply this row by xi and this row by yi, you will get a form like this. So here I'll get xi term, that is over here, and here I'll get an xi term which is over here, and this is anyway 0, and multiplying this term by yi, so I'll get a yi over here and a yi over here. And if I just add these two things, row 1 plus row 2, if I just add this, so you will see that this addition is a scaled thing of the third row. So this can prove that the third row is actually linearly dependent of these two rows. So we can simply ignore the third row. I hope this is clear. So you can see by this sort of explanation, the third row comes out to be linearly dependent to the first two rows. So because of that, we can just remove the third row and we are left with only first two rows. Okay, so since this was linearly dependent, so this is not giving any new information. All the information is just in the first two rows. So we can just take these two rows and we can just scratch out this row. Okay, so we are left with this thing. Now to actually give you the right perspective, so this is actually a 2 cross 12 matrix. Why? Because xi is actually a vector. So xi, this xi is nothing but this thing x y z 1. So this xi is a vector of 4 elements x y z 1. So if you see this thing, this has an xi transpose over here, so hence this xi transpose is nothing but xi yi zi. So this is the x coordinate of the 3D location, y coordinate of 3D location, and z coordinate of 3D location. Again, this is bold x, so it is a vector, and these are all not bold, so these are scalar quantities. Okay, and the same thing over here. So actually this matrix is like this, and this p1, if you see the notation, p1 or pj is the jth row of p, so this whole vector is p1. Okay, so hence this thing is nothing but a 12 element matrix, because each p1 p2 p3 is a vector, a column vector of 4 elements. So it is a 12 element matrix over here, and this is also 2 cross 12 matrix like this. So I hope this is clear, because when one sees this notation, it looks like this is a 2 cross 3 and this is 1 cross 3. 3 cross 1, but this is actually the case. It is because these are vectors over here. So this is the real thing that you have. So now if you see this thing, this is nothing but ax is equal to 0. This case ax is equal to 0. So now this can be very easily solved by what is known as least squares for homogeneous system. So if you don't know what is that thing, you can just click the video over here, that will take you to my link of least squares for homogeneous system. So with that you can easily get the solution, one solution of P, that is this camera matrix. So you will get these 12 elements with you and you are done. You got the camera matrix with you. But now there is one change. So if you are not changing the setup, that is if you are going to keep the camera as it is and you are just going to remove this object and place some other object over here, then it is totally fine, then your camera matrix will work. But if now after this setup you are moving the camera somewhere else and taking the video, so the whole reference has changed, because the 3D world coordinates that you took over here were with respect to some reference. So if you change the camera now, then the reference changes. So hence your P will again change, because if you know this P is actually made of the extrinsic camera over here, which is actually aligning the camera coordinate with the world coordinate. So if you change the reference, then these things will change. So it is seen that the intrinsic camera matrix will not change, given that you don't change the focus of the camera, or you don't change the camera itself. So if those things are same, the intrinsic camera will always be the same, but these extrinsic parameters will change. So then what to do? So for that what we can do is, given this matrix, so now with the camera calibration and the direct linear transform technique, we can get this matrix, this 3 cross 4 matrix. And if I just denote this like this, so this was the usual notation that we used in our series. So if you see the first 3 cross 3, this can be expressed as a product of K into R, where K is this intrinsic matrix, this sort of an upper triangular matrix, and R is a rotation matrix over here. So it turns out that by a technique called as RQ decomposition technique, we can just separate or decompose this M, this 3 cross 3 matrix, into a product of a 3 cross 3 upper triangular matrix and a 3 cross 3 rotation matrix. So by decomposing M with the RQ decomposition method, you will get K, which is nothing but this upper triangular matrix. And once you have K, it makes your life much simpler. So this is a simple camera calibration technique by which you can get the intrinsic parameters of the camera. And if you don't change the camera, you get the both extrinsic and intrinsic camera of the matrix. So that's all about this video. So what is RQ decomposition? This can be covered in another video where I can tell you what is, how can we decompose the M matrix into a K into an R, where K is an upper triangle and R is a rotation matrix. So that can be covered in another video. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.